Okay, so hello, my name is Heath Fogelman. I'm co-founder of MakeBridges.com. Make Bridges is basically a platform, and now recently we launched our app that allows people to connect by their differences rather than similarities. Most platforms connect you by similarities, whether it's similar friends, similar content you look at, the videos you watch, the news you subscribe to, and so on. What tends to happen then is you get people who are a lot like you in your bubble, you kick out the people who aren't like you, and it really ends up making us more divided than we've ever been. So Bridges is sort of a reaction to that, because what we're trying to do is get people to connect explicitly by their differences rather than by the similarities on the other platforms. Put them into one-on-one conversations, getting them out of those social bubbles, away from that bias, and getting them to have authentic conversations with people on the other side, whether that other side is a different religion, a different race, a different politics, whatever it may be. Have those one-on-one conversations, because that's where real enlightenment happens, we think. That's where you really learn about somebody, and it gives a chance to have some civil discourse about those differences and rehumanize each other to the people on the other side. So let's go. So there was recently a hidden common ground survey by Ipsos USA Today. This was in December. Actually, it was in October. It was published in December. And it found I found a lot of really interesting things, actually, but I've highlighted a few things here. We have common ground. We need to learn to reduce divisiveness. That was sort of an overall finding. Our sources of information contribute to the more destructive way we disagree. So 73% of people agreed that there's more common ground between us than the news media or political leaders portray. We're constantly being bombarded with how different we are and how wrong the other side is, whatever the other side is. But there's actually, most people agree, there's a lot more in common. We just don't often get the opportunity in the platforms that we use to communicate normally to find those common grounds, just because of the nature of how they're constructed. 92% agree it's important for the United States to try to reduce divisiveness. And that comes from everywhere. It seems like every time I hear a politician or an academic or some talking head talking, it's all about, we need to listen to the other side. We need to connect. We need to build bridges. We need to, find common ground. And the people agree that were part of this study. And the study spanned political parties and affiliations, and this is the results on where they agreed the most. 74% agreed that over the last 10 years, America has become more destructive in how it disagrees, how it deals with disagreement. So we're meaner and nastier than we used to be. We call names, and we just want to flame each other, and we just want to get the zinger in. And we're just more destructive about how we disagree rather than being civil and talking about those differences. And 75% agree in general, social media promotes mostly destructive public discussions and debate. Just like I said, you build that social bubble in that echo chamber, you tend to kick out people who don't agree with you. You tend to keep the people who do. That tends to sort of radicalize you and pull you further whatever direction you are, and make you look less kindly on people who disagree. So this is just in the last 6 months this has come out, but it's been a problem for years, obviously. And to that last point, social platforms tend to push us apart in a lot of ways. Our world's more connected than ever before, so why are we more divided than ever before? And there's a lot of different reasons why that happens. The one-to-many free-for-all format empowers trolls. So you get on Twitter, you get on Facebook, people have a big audience, they know that they can say something awful or mean or whatever it is, and they get a lot of attention, they get a lot of reaction for it. And some people like that kind of thing. So it empowers that mindset. Those who think differently are dehumanized. So they don't just disagree with us, they're ignorant, or they're stupid, or they're greedy, or they're evil, or they're agenda driven, which means they don't deserve our understanding, our compassion, or our kindness. So that's sort of the mentality that's reinforced through the way a lot of platforms are constructed. Dissenting voices get pushed out, like I just said. People don't agree with you in your bubble. You don't want to hear what they had to say. You unfollow them, unfriend them, whatever the case may be. And that leaves behind social bubbles that become echo chambers. And those echo chambers radicalize us, like I mentioned. If we're left, if we're right, we become more and more that direction, or more and more radical in our beliefs because of it. And our followers become both an audience and a posse. So on those platforms, that one-to-many, we've got an audience that's always watching us, right? When we interact with someone on the other side, there's an expectation that we should be attacking them because they're ignorant or stupid or greedy or evil or gender-driven or whatever it is, right? And if we don't, then that audience that we would normally perform for becomes a posse and goes after that person themselves if we don't do it for them, right? And I've had that happen to me many times trying to have a genuine conversation with someone on Facebook, for example. And first you have to get over that barrier of, wait, he's trying to set me up. He's trying to, jump on me or make me look stupid. If I can even convince the person I want to have an authentic conversation, then I've got to worry about his audience or her audience and my audience jumping in and ruining that by attacking the other side. So Make Bridges is our app. And it brings us together. We connect people by their differences to foster understanding. And basically the way we built the whole thing is a reaction to all those things about social media that don't work well. We're about empowering safe, civil, one-on-one dialogues. Again, find someone who's different than you in a fundamental way, pull them out, get them in a one-on-one conversation and talk to each other about your differences. Safe and civil, because you don't have the audience, you don't have the posse, you can actually have a real conversation with somebody, and you can actually learn something about them, they can learn something about you, and hopefully what you walk away with, even if you don't agree when you're done, what you walk away with is, wow, they're not evil, they're not bad, they're not agenda driven, they're not stupid, they're just different, and we're actually a lot more similar than we are different, despite whatever those differences may be. So we're rehumanizing people by doing this. Who have different identities, ideas, and beliefs. We enable discovery and learning through firsthand sources. Most of what we believe about people who aren't like us comes from other sources, whether it's media, social media, memes, videos we watch, whatever. A lot of that stuff is very biased or just flat out wrong, but it shapes our viewpoint of these other people. If you want to know about someone who's different than you, talk to someone who's different than you about those differences. That's how you really get to know what those differences are, which aspects of it are true or aren't, and where you start breaking down those biases and preconceived notions. And that's what Make Bridges enables. It encourages sound reasoning about your own positions as well. When you're talking to somebody about whatever it is, your political beliefs, religious beliefs, whatever it is, and they're there to learn about your differences, they're going to challenge you. And if you don't have good reasons for thinking what you think, maybe it's going to make you think a little differently, or at least look for better reasons why it is you believe what you believe. So it's a good opportunity for us to make good cases for what it is we believe in our identities and so on. So Make Bridges brings all of that to the table. As far as connecting with us, makebridges.com is our website. You can see we've got links to the apps for both the Apple Store and the Google Store. So you can get that now and get on there and start connecting with people on the other side, whatever that other side is right now. And go. Any questions at this point so far?
No, I mean, I think it sounds like a very cool app. My question is, who are you targeting it to? Like, where are you trying to get it to get the most? Is it just to the general public, or are you working with organizations? Like, how are you doing this?
Yeah, and that'll be we'll touch on that a little bit later. But yes, I mean the general public, just because there are people of all different persuasions and walks of life and experience and so on, and those are all valuable to telling the story of whatever group we belong to, race, religion, gender, etc. So yeah, we want everybody of all ages and descriptions to be on it. What we found, we're getting most of the interaction from a younger set of folks, 25 to 35 range. People are engaging with it, downloading it, and interacting. I think I would love to target at the college level. I think folks at that level are learning.
Oops, sorry, hold on.
Folks at that level are learning who they are, finding their identity, they're celebrating it, they're already going to the college Democrats or the college Republicans club or the LGBTQ club or the whatever ethnicity clubs there are on campus. So they're already aligning around these identities and beliefs and ideas. We want to connect with them and say, hey, come on to Make Bridges and represent your people, whoever your people are, in a positive way for those who are interested and curious about learning about you. So that to me is a kind of a no-brainer and where we want to be. But in general, we're trying to spread the word anyway into anyone that we can right now, because we're trying to scale up that user base so that people have folks to talk to, and we can start growing it and snowballing it into something that we think can be really powerful and good for our culture and our country.
Cool.
So next few slides actually get into the app and how it works.
Okay.
So let's see. First thing, registering. When you download the app, first thing you're going to see is login screen. If you haven't logged in before, you register, email address, password, accept the terms and conditions. You'll get an email to confirm your email. So click on that to do that, and then you're good to go. Then you create your profile. Right now, your username and birth date are mandatory. The other 5 things, gender, race, ethnicity, politics, religion, sexuality, you can share any of those you want. Basically, those are the things. What are you willing to talk about yourself? You need to have at least one, because obviously you can't connect if we don't have something to connect you with. But hopefully you put it all in, and that just gives you the maximum opportunity to connect with people who are different in all those different ways from you. Once you're done with that, you log in, and then you're good to go. Then it's as easy as choosing a topic and a partner. You can drop down the hamburger menu there, and you've got this menu at any point. So you can connect at any point. It takes you to connect screen, and then you choose what topic. So whatever you provided of these topics will be available to you to start a conversation. So click religion, went over here, found this person, M. Jarvis in this case, and you can see what they're going to look like here. Who would you want to talk to? You see there's a left-right scroll. If you scroll right, you're going to find people who are more and more like you. If you scroll left, they're more and more different from you. The red copy there tells you what's different. So different religion in this place and different race in this place. In this case, the green is how we're like. We're both male, we're both liberal, we're both heterosexual. Scroll right, you can see more and more green, and you're going to have that one difference that ultimately is the only difference. If you scroll left, you may talk to somebody who's different in every single way from you once you get down to that side. So it's really where your comfort zone is and how different you want that person to be. But then you hit connect, and then you get into a dialogue. And this is just a quick shot of a conversation I had with somebody recently, but it's just a chat back and forth. Say, hey, I see that you are a different religion than me. I'm curious about what does that mean, that religion? What do you believe? How is that different from X, Y, and Z? How's it different from my faith? Or whatever. I see in the news today, we see another instance of a black citizen dying at the hands of a white police officer. If I'm talking to somebody who is black, I'm like, hey, what is your reaction to that? How do you feel about that? Start that conversation, the icebreaker, and get to know that person and their differences from you and understand that better. And then it's just a chat. Once you're done with the chat, you get, first of all, the dialogue section. So in that hamburger menu, you've got dialogues. This is basically your inbox and your outbox. On the top, you got your inbox, incoming conversations, and this bridge tech here for mine. This is going to be people who have answered your latest comment. So it's time for you to make a comment on the conversation, or someone who has requested a new dialogue for you. Down below the inbox, you got your outbox. Those are all the ones that are out that people haven't responded to. When you finish a conversation, you're going to archive it. And that little 14 up there, that's the archive box. And you can go in here. The 14 corresponds to conversations where you haven't rated that person yet, but it archives all your conversations. So you can always go back and find that cool conversation you have with someone, find that person again, and start another conversation on another topic. But as far as the ratings go, when you finish up a conversation, you're going to hit end dialogue. You hit the 3 dots there, it drops down, end the dialogue. It's going to pop up the rating. So every conversation, you have an opportunity to rate the person that you're involved with. These are your questions, very simple. Were they open-minded? Did they share their ideas and thoughts? Were they interested in my ideas and thoughts? And would I dialogue with them again? 1 to 5 stars. That aggregates into a community rating that you see, if I go back real quick, you see here on the right, you got 5 stars in this case. If they've got fewer stars, they're probably there for the wrong reasons. Maybe they're trolling people. Maybe they were mean, whatever it was. Those people are going to get washed out. So you've got this community rating system in order to make sure that the good people rise to the top and the bad people get washed out. The rate now option, you don't have to end the dialogue. You can rate them during the middle of it. Like, man, I love talking to this person, but I don't want to end it. I want to rate them now. They're awesome. I want everybody to know it, but I want to keep talking to them. The report option, if someone is breaking the rules, if they're using racist language, if they're making threats, whatever the case may be, you think that they need to be gone, you report them to us. We'll look into it, and we'll take action as necessary. And then, how you can help. So that's basically how the app works. Okay, so you register, pretty easy, verify your email, set up your profile, and then it's a couple clicks at any point to start a new conversation with somebody who's different than you in any of these ways. Your dialogue, your landing screen, once you get dialogues running, it will be your dialogue inbox. So you'll always see those new conversations that are waiting for your conversation first and foremost. And then doing those ratings helps the whole community and helps us kind of police ourselves and keep the inevitable trolls at bay.
Cool.
Question?
So Facebook gets a lot of flack one way or the other about monitoring or not monitoring, fake news, real news, whatever you want to say. Are you doing any of that in this app, or is it because it's one-on-one, you're not monitoring any of those conversations?
Exactly. It's one-on-one. The idea is that it is a closed conversation with you and that person. If the person's sharing fake news, then you counter with real news, and hopefully you guys can find a middle ground of trusted sources that you can have a conversation around. It's an education opportunity on both sides potentially. We're not monitoring except if someone gets reported for bad behavior, and then we're gonna tune in. We're gonna look at what was said, the context, and all of those things, and make a decision on whether that person needs to be maybe suspended temporarily or kicked off permanently. Do they need a warning? Whatever the case is, we'll take the necessary action. So that's the only time that we're going to get into people's conversations, because we want them to be real and authentic and private, because that's part of the problem, is that we don't have the private opportunities on other platforms that we do here. And that lack of privacy, that audience, that monitoring by everybody else contributes to a lot of the bad stuff that happens on those platforms. So as far as next steps and where we are, basically downloading the app is the biggest thing that anybody can do to help us out. Download it, set up your profile, throw out some conversations. Understand we're growing right now. We're growing that user base. So you may not get an answer to every conversation request, but throw out as many, 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is, put those lines in the water, wait for something to come back, and then embrace that and see what you can do as far as building bridges. Helping spread the word is huge. Share this with your family, friends, on your social channels. Connect us with media, bloggers, podcasters. Again, any way we can get that word out, we want to. It's tough to break through the clutter when you're sending out press releases and all that kind of stuff. If anyone has those kind of connections, please let us know. And then we talked about the colleges, civic and advocacy organizations, churches. Those are other places where we've got groups of people who are like-minded, where we want to have representing themselves on the app. Follow, like, and share what we're doing on Facebook and Twitter. At Make Bridges on Facebook, at Bridges_app on Twitter. And tell us what we're missing, because I'm sure, you try to check all the boxes and try to do everything right. But if we're missing something, we want to know. We want to make it the best experience we can for everybody to connect and engage. And then this is my information, my phone number, my email directly for any of those that help that people are willing to or able to provide.
Very cool. Have you talked to any of our nonprofit members about kind of getting on board? Because we have Project No Labels, we have Equality Florida, we have Legacy Week, all of which are built around advocacy for different groups. So they might be interested.
I've talked to Equality Florida a little bit, and we've got some sort of action items to work with them. So we're working on that. But the others I haven't yet, and I would love to. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I will make the introduction to them, to Claire and to JC, if you haven't met them. JC shares an office with Nadine up on the 4th floor, and Claire has a desk on the 3rd floor. So anyway,
Nadine, I talked to, and so it was a great conversation with her. What they're doing at Equality Florida ties in perfectly with this, because again, the LGBT community is one that we want, because that's one that people have a lot of questions about and they don't understand necessarily. but they can't necessarily ask those questions through their social channels, you know, because they've got an audience to perform for. Get on bridges, you can have those one-on-one conversations and learn to understand those folks
Right.
better.
And Legacy Week, which is what JC Pritchett is involved with, is intentionally created to bring together the LGBT, African American, and Jewish communities in a series of dialogues about their differences and commonalities. So, I mean, I think he is another one that would be a really good connection for you. Project No Labels is another kind of LGBT oriented organization with a little bit of a different focus, some more mental health, that kind of stuff. So all of those would be good. But thank you for sharing this and for making this available. I'm glad you're doing it. It's really cool. And I will go on and make myself a profile. So
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
One down, 20,000 million to go.
That's it. Just go every day, one at a time, right? So.
Every little step counts, exactly. And I really feel like, if you know, the more we get, the more people see the applicability and the value of this, you're going to reach that tipping point of snowballing at some point. And
Right.
I mean, that's part of wanting to talk to the younger folks as well in the college scene, because you get them passionate about it and they're going to talk about it and they're going to tell their friends, right? But really anybody that's been missing this and wanting to be able to have a conversation with someone on the other side and just not able to do it, that's what we're here for. We heard that call again and again, and we've really designed this to be the answer to that need in the marketplace.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna log off because we've got an ambassador meeting that I have to get ready for. So, but thank you very much. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. So I will stop recording and I will stop my screen sharing, I guess, and we're good to go. Thanks so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.